right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. Sometimes life pulls you from up here to down here to teach you a lesson. And you're in a valley right now. And there are lessons in this valley. I hope you learn from them.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Business owner Mark Minoy is suing his neighbor Sandra Kelly in the amount of $836. Mr. Minoy claims Ms. Kelly hit his car, and as a result, his car now has a huge dent in it. Ms. Kelly claims she tapped the plaintiff's car, but she didn't damage it.
All right, Mr. Minoy, you're suing Ms. Kelly for $836, which represents property damage from a car crash. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, what's your relationship with the defendant?
She is my neighbor. She just recently moved into my apartment complex 3 months ago.
Okay.
And this isn't actually the first instance I've had with her. She basically has it out for me.
Right. Why does she have it out? Do you have it out for him, ma'am?
No, I have no idea what he's talking
Why
about.
do you say she has it out for you?
All right, so everything was all nice and peaceful before she moved in, right? But
How long had you lived there?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So she's constantly blaring loud music into the night. I've told her she'll have her trash piled up outside of the apartment for 3 or 4 days.
Right. Where do you live in relation to each other? Are you next door? Are you
She's directly across the hall from me.
Directly across
Yes.
the hall. Tell me about this $836.
All right. I went to my local grocery store. It's a pretty small area. It has a couple venues.
Like a convenience store?
Yeah, kind of like a family-owned one. So what happens was there's a one-way street outside of it, and I parked right behind. Yeah, it was right in front of Miss Kelly. And
you saw her at the convenience store?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually pulling in, and then she waved at me. I didn't know what I was just
You waved back at her?
Kind of disregarded her.
All right.
But
So why do I have these little toy cars here? You supposed to show me?
I would love to show you exactly
okay,
what
let me
happened,
see
give you a
what's
visual
going on.
for
Which
it.
car is your car?
Okay. This yellow one will represent mine.
Okay.
So just to draw it out for you. This would be the market. Okay. This is the street. It's a one-way street on this side. No parking at all on this side, okay? So she was parked right here, and then I pull up, and then I parallel park here, okay? More than enough room. I use my best judgment. I'm trying not to destroy nobody's property, bump into any cars.
So you parallel parked, and what happened?
I walked out. I went to the grocery store for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then as I was walking out, I saw Miss Kelly pulling out, and I came back to put my groceries in the back of my car.
Right.
And I noticed all the damage. My right rear headlight was busted out. The bumper was cracked.
You have pictures of that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me see. Were you at the convenience store?
No, I was actually at the dry cleaners next door.
Okay, let me take a look at the pictures, and then I'm going to ask you to tell me what happened there.
Of course.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a social worker for the LA County.
You just don't strike me like a social worker.
25.
Yeah,
I
well, I
seem
don't
young.
care how old you are. You still don't strike me as a social worker. 25, 18, 35. You just don't strike me that way. You don't seem so social.
Maybe not in this situation.
Okay. All right, so, Miss Kelly, let me know. Show me what happened.
Okay, well, let's say this is a car down here. This is my car. I parked pretty close.
Where was his car? Show me where his car was.
Well, his car didn't, so I don't know where he was coming from, but his car was not in the picture yet. So there's a car back here. I bumped back into it. Maybe there's 2 inches left, so pretty close to it. And then there was a car up here, and I would say there was not a lot of room for a car, maybe a smart car or a Fiat. And then he comes and I don't even...
Did you see him park?
So I was walking, walking to the dry cleaners right in here. So I was right about here when I noticed him pulling in, and he had 5 3-point turns. I'm not even sure. And he wasn't even fully in this spot. He was still kind of out from what I saw.
Okay. So when you came out, that's how the cars were basically all kissing each other.
Yes, they were very tight.
Okay. So you come out, and then what happened?
Well, I noticed his windows were down. I was like, probably here, not even crossed the street yet. And I told him not to park that there obviously wasn't enough.
What did you say?
I said, sir, you can't park there. There's obviously not enough.
Did you say, sir? This is your neighbor across the street,
At
sir?
the time, I didn't recognize him. I was over there. I couldn't see him. He was on the other side of the car. It was
Okay.
shady.
What kind of car is this?
It's a BMW X5.
Okay. You never noticed that BMW X5 in the apartment complex?
So I didn't think twice about it.
Okay.
So then I was just walking across, and I told him very clearly not to park there.
Okay.
And
What did you say?
I said, sir, please don't park there. There's not enough room.
Okay, so did you stop and watch him park there?
Yes.
Okay, so he got his car in like you're showing me.
Yes. From
But
what?
the way you're showing me, he's all up on the car in front of him and all up on your car.
Exactly. I'm not even sure.
So when you came out, this is how his car was? The front of his car was on top of the car in front of him, and the back of his car was on top of your car?
That's what it looked like to me.
Okay, what did you do?
I came out. I was in the dry cleaners for about 5 minutes. I got an important call for work. I came back in my car. He was still not there. I was hoping his car would be gone so I could clearly get out.
Well, who was behind your red car?
Gray Honda Civic, maybe. Some other car.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure, but it was there first before both of us.
Okay.
Then I was parked, and I waited in my car for maybe another 3 minutes. He still didn't come.
Right.
So
Why were you waiting for him?
Because I wanted him to get out of his spot.
Because?
So I could clearly get out of my spot.
So you didn't have enough space to get out of your parking spot?
It didn't seem so, no.
Okay. That's why you were waiting for him?
Correct.
And he didn't show up?
Correct.
And then what?
And then I took the next 4
minutes,
four
5
minutes, yeah.
6 minutes.
To like back out, back and forth in the same 3-inch
Did
motion.
and what about the man in the Toyota or whatever car was behind yours? Whoever was in that car never showed up, huh?
No, his car was there for much longer than mine.
Coming up on Supreme Justice with Judge Karen.
You go, I may have tapped his car, but I didn't crash it.
Correct.
Okay, so you admit that you might have hit the car.
Perhaps, yes.
And later,
Did you pay the $500?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay.
Because as far as I'm concerned,
Right.
with the conversation that we had, I had his go-ahead.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Mark Minoy, who is suing Sandra Kelly for property damage.
Does he come out?
I never saw him come out.
So what did you do?
Well, since I had to get to work and I was running late on a very important call, as I said, I was spent the next 4 minutes like going back and forth in the same 3-inch motion. I guess like so for a while. And then I finally make it out hitting the curb right here on my tire.
Right.
And I finally make it out. And then I did hear a slight crunch.
Okay.
So I parked my car like this, got out, checked the car in front and in back of me, and there was no damage, but there was a broken glass bottle right by the curb where my tire was.
Okay.
So then I just drove off, got to work.
So you never saw this damage?
No.
Okay. So you can stand over there. All right. So now what happened?
As I was walking out of the grocery store, she was pulling away, and
Right.
I'm very on top of everything in my life, ma'am. Okay.
What did you notice when you came out of the grocery store?
I noticed the picture that I just handed you, ma'am.
You noticed a picture? You saw the damage to your car.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, that's a photo of it.
Okay.
So prior to me going into the grocery store,
Right.
I did not have any damage done to my car. That's significant.
Okay. Did
so
you ever try to contact her about the car?
Yes, I went
Did you
over-
make a police report?
No.
Why not?
I just wanted her to pay for it.
I wanted to ask you something else about your statement I just picked up. You go, I may have tapped his car, but I didn't crash it.
Correct.
Okay, so you admit that you might have hit the car.
Perhaps, yes.
Okay, when did you realize that?
After the fact.
Right. So did you ever come to him and say, I think I might have hit your car, and let me work it out?
I didn't know it was him at the time.
Okay. Did you give me a receipt for the damages?
Yes, there's an invoice for the repairs.
Okay, let me see what that is. Did you have insurance?
Yes.
Did you file a claim with your insurance or no?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so you don't have to file a claim. You're not obligated to do that. $836. All right, I believe you hit him. You knew you hit him. And I find that your credibility is in question. I might have tapped him, but I didn't crash him. Well, I don't think I hit him. I didn't see him. I mean, I don't even know what was going on there. What's going on with you, too? But judgment is for the plaintiff in the amount of $836. Good luck to you both.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $836.
Seriously, dude? You know my Honda Fit could not do that damage to your car, and now I have to pay for it.
Regardless, if you just would have waited for me to move out of my parking spot, none of this would have happened.
Coming up.
Did you pay the $500?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay.
Because as far as I'm concerned,
Right.
with the conversation that we had, I had his go-ahead.
Closed captioning provided by
When I have a breakout from eczema, I feel like I'm in this shell.
Gold Bond Eczema Relief relieves 5 frustrating symptoms of eczema.
My skin's back.
You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Boat owner Todd Nichols is suing marina manager Gary Lendon in the amount of $1,590. Mr. Nichols claims Mr. Lendon forced him to stop repairing his boat near the dock, and he feels the defendant should pay for him to repair his boat elsewhere. Mr. Lendon claims the plaintiff was breaking the rules by doing construction on his vessel, and he's countersuing for unpaid fines.
Mr. Nichols, Mr. Linden, I've read your pleadings. You're suing for $1,590 for equipment and supplies you bought for your boat.
Pretty much. Basically, I'd already purchased the supplies. I was working on my boat myself.
Right. And you what, manage the
marina facility.
You manage the marina. Now, help me understand. I did read your pleadings. A marina is where boats come in, but they're not dry docked, right? They're in the water.
They are in the water, that's
okay,
correct.
so a boat yard is where boats go in and they're dry docked, right? You pick them up out of the water so you can do work on them.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, so how old was this boat of yours?
The boat was 10 years old. I've had it for 6 years.
Okay, and what was your intention as to the restoration?
Well, basically, I was doing some renovation on the interior of the boat, nothing at all on the exterior.
Right, what were you doing inside the boat?
Working on the galley and working on the bathroom doors. During the time that I was doing that, I had spent, like I said, approximately $800 in supplies and tools.
Right.
I was about a week and a half into getting it done. All of a sudden, one of the marina workers knocks on my hull.
Okay, and what is your position about that?
Well, as you stated, one of my dock hands was walking by and heard...
Right. Is your dock hand here?
No, he's not.
Okay, well, don't tell me what he said, because that's hearsay.
Well,
but tell me what you know.
Well, what I do know is we had other tenants complain about noise coming from Mr. Nichols'
What are
vessel.
the rules?
Our rules and regulations are you can have small fixer-upper jobs,
like
but no...
what?
Well, just like light touch-up.
Can I paint my boat?
You can paint your boat.
Okay.
Just no heavy machinery like
saws
or table saws or power saws.
You just don't want any noise.
Precisely.
So you can do what you want to do as long as you're not noisy.
Correct.
How can you do an interior renovation without being noisy?
You can't.
Exactly.
And basically, I used power sander, power drill. I wanted to get it done. I have a limited period of time for me to do this.
Right.
There's other.
Let me see a picture. Let me see a picture of the boat, and let me see from you the rules, because I know that. How much were you paying at this place?
Paying $350 a month.
$350 a month to keep your boat there. And you weren't living on that boat, were you?
Only time I was living on the boat was when I was actually in that part of the country, ma'am. If you'd like to look at page 4 of the Rules and Regulations, Article 6,
Vessel owners may conduct work on their vessels as long as said work doesn't interfere with the rights of other vessels. Small portable tools are permissible to perform repairs with express consent from NHMI, who you represent. Did you have expressed consent?
What I did is I went and talked to Mr. Lendon about it. I explained to him that I'm doing a renovation, I'm going to be moving furniture out,
Right.
and I'm going to be painting the interior of my boat.
And what did you say?
I said, as long as it doesn't violate any of the rules and regulations,
Right.
we shouldn't have a problem.
Coming up,
Did you pay the $500?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay.
Because as far as I'm concerned,
Right.
with the conversation that we had, I had his go-ahead.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Todd Nichols, who is suing Gary Lendon for breach of contract.
So then something happened.
Well, we received complaints that
Right.
it sounded like there
Okay,
were
but
dock...
what did you do?
My dock hand came and reported again that we're getting complaints.
Right. Did you
And
go
so
over there?
I issued the citation for $500 because he was violating the rules and regulations,
Okay.
and our dock hand went and submitted it to him.
Okay, so then you got served with a $500 fine.
Correct.
According to the rules.
And it also said I need to go to the boatyard.
Did you pay the $500?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay.
Because as far as I'm concerned,
Right.
with the conversation that we had, I had his go-ahead.
So you're suing for $1,590,
Correct.
and what does that represent?
What that represents is if I'm not allowed to finish this on my own,
Right.
that's what the boatyard is going to charge me to do pretty much what I've already done.
Right.
If you look at the estimate from the boatyard,
Right.
we're talking $800 just for labor.
The bottom line is you can't do the type of work you want to do there.
Exactly,
Period.
Your
You
Honor.
need to take it to a dry dock and take it to a boatyard.
But again, after talking to Mr. Landon, it seemed like everything was fine and we
Okay,
were
He
but
was
ready
not
to go.
upfront and honest about the scope of his project.
Right,
It was-
but the bottom line is the rules say express consent. He's saying he's not giving it to you, and even if he did give it to you, he could withdraw it. But you don't have the express consent to do the work that you're doing.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. Promotional consideration provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen.
As to your countersuit for $500, you do not have any direct evidence that you presented to me that he at that time was making noise or breaking the rules. So I'm
Yeah.
going to rule in favor of the plaintiff in that case, which means he's not going to give you $500. So your case is dismissed, and actually your case is dismissed. So there's no money exchanging hands today, so you can take that money and go down to the dry dock and make arrangements to fix your boat.
I've already spent a ton of money on this. I can't afford to go to the dockyard.
Well, you know what, then maybe this is just not the time to do those renovations. Maybe this is not the time because you don't have the money.
I had the money to get everything I needed.
It is so ruled.
Judge Karen has ruled. Both cases have been dismissed.
I'm glad I don't have to pay the fine, but I'm really not that happy I've got to pay that extra money.
I'm sorry you didn't understand the terms of your lease, but if you're going to finish the work on your boat, you got to take it to a boatyard.